Hey, good afternoon, friend. Well, it may be morning for you. It could be in the middle of the night. Who knows? But anyway, greetings. Leanne Goff here, the transformational coach. And I hope you are having an awesome day, or you had an amazing day, or you're going to have an incredible day. So whatever time of the day you're listening to this, I'm just blessing your day one way or the other, blessing your day. So anyway, again, Leanne Goff, the transformational coach, and I'm super excited to be back with you today. Like I said in another podcast, 2022 has been a great start of a year. In fact, I was listening to another friend of mine's podcast early this morning, and she was just talking about how the number, there's 3 2s in 2022. Bear with me. This isn't what my podcast is about today, but just came to me. But there's 3 2s in 2022, and it's like double, everything double, double blessings, double honor, double favor, just double, that the year would be like massive double. And so I was listening to that podcast and I was claiming it. I'm taking that in. I like that. Double for this is what you said, double for your troubles. Double for your troubles. Whatever 2021 brought to you and all the trouble you went through, you call Satan down and go, okay, this year I'm declaring and claiming 2022 is going to be double for my trouble. That everything I went through, I'm going to see a massive shift, a massive breakthrough, upgrade, acceleration in the blessings of God over my life. And I disagree with you right now on that. So, all right. What I really want to talk to you about today is we are going to be talking about your mentality, my mentality, our mentality. What kind of mentality do we have? That's really the title of my podcast today. What is your mentality? And, God really wants us to have a thriving mentality, a healthy mentality, a prosperous mentality, a relationship mentality with him and with others. But I talk to a lot of people, especially Christians, they don't have a healthy mentality. They don't have a prosperous mentality. They don't have a relationship mentality. They don't have a thriving mentality. So many of them have a religious mentality, or a victim mentality, or a poverty mentality. And all of those types of mentalities, religious, victim, and poverty, are detrimental to us and our relationship with God and with others and life, just every single day. And so let's kind of break this down. And, as you're listening to this, think about, do you have a healthy mentality? Do you have a prosperous mentality? Do you have a relationship mentality? Do you have a thriving mentality? Do you choose to listen to the dove? Or do you choose to listen to the pigeon, religious, victim, poverty, striving, and not thriving? And so let's kind of break down at least the religious, victim, and poverty mentalities today. So, a religious mentality is a toxic mentality. It is toxic. Religious, I heard somebody say years and years ago that religion sends more people. Well, actually worked for Teen Challenge for 10 years. And this is when I heard this in the midst of working with Teen Challenge, that religion sends more people to hell than drugs and alcohol ever will. I mean, seriously, religion, it can destroy a church. It can destroy a life. It can destroy a family. It can destroy a city, a nation. Religion was never established by God. Man created religion. Man thought up religion. Man created all the rules and regulations that are not for our benefit. They are not to help us thrive. And so there's a religious mentality, and it's toxic. There's also a victim mentality. And guess what? It's toxic too. All of these are toxic mentalities. They do not cause us to thrive. They will eat away at our mindset. They will eat, and then it begins to go down into our heart. And then it can go into every single fiber of our being as we allow these toxic mentalities to have their way in our life. And the third one is, there's other toxic mentalities, but we're just going to talk about 3 today. The third one is a poverty mentality. Is toxic. Oh my gosh, I could spend like a few hours just on a poverty mentality. Jesus was not poor. Like, believe it or not, he was not poor. Again, mom and dad had money for the hotel. There was just no room for him to be born. There was just no room. It says that. It didn't say, oh my gosh, Mary and Joseph couldn't afford a hotel room. They couldn't afford the inn. No, it says there was no rooms in the inn. He had a business. Joseph had a business. And I'm not saying he was rich, but you know what? They weren't poor. They had the money. They just didn't have any room for him. So they're just trying to find a place for Jesus to be born, because Mary is about like, this baby's coming out. I don't care if you give me in a cave. Get me in a cave. This baby, I can't ride this donkey anymore. This kid's coming. And so Joseph just got her where he could. And then, you know what? Here comes the wise men with silver, gold, and myrrh. Okay. Frankincense and myrrh. Okay. Those were really expensive things back then. They were like, everybody wanted that kind of stuff. Okay. And so Jesus has streets of gold, pearly gates. He does not have a poverty mentality. And to me, it says, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So if there's no poverty in heaven, guess what, friend? There's not supposed to be poverty on earth and in my life. I'm not supposed to be poor. Okay. I need to be poor in spirit. What that means is I'm humble in spirit. I'm not walking around with pride. We need to make sure we have this stuff straight. So again, a religious mentality is toxic, a victim mentality is toxic, and a poverty mentality is toxic. So let's talk about some warning signs of just a toxic mentality. The warning signs of a toxic religious mentality. We're going to take a religious mentality first and the warning signs of that. So one of them, God is a cold, harsh, distant tax master. That's a religious mentality. He's like, created me, but doesn't have time for me. And he just tells me what to do. And then if I get out of line, he's just going to discipline me. He's going to punish me. Like, that's not God. He's not cold, harsh, or distant. All right. He's not a taskmaster. He's a loving father. He's a good dad. Okay. But that's a sign of a religious mentality that's toxic. It can eat away at our spiritual fiber in our soul and our spirit. Another one, desperate for a visitation, not abiding in habitation. Desperate for a visitation, not abiding in habitation. Guys, sons and daughters abide in habitation. They're not looking for visitation. All right. When we know who we are and whose we are, and we are, within God's kingdom, we are his beloved son and daughter. Like, I'm not looking for a visitation from my dad, hoping he's going to show up today and maybe say something to me or listen to me and a request I have. No, I abide. I'm in continual habitation with my dad because I'm in a relationship with him. I'm not in a religion. I'm in a relationship with him. Another, titles. Those with religious mentalities, it's about a title, not about a position. You know what? I am a beloved daughter who preaches. I'm a beloved daughter who ministers. I'm a beloved daughter who's a health coach. I'm a beloved daughter who's a wife, a mom, a grandmother. I'm a beloved daughter that is an author, a speaker. That's not who I am, those things. That's what I do in my position as a beloved daughter. So religious people are looking for titles. Those who are in relationship with God, they know who they are and whose they are. They don't need a title. Religious mentality and control. Boy, do I see this a lot of times. I mean, people are trying to control people because this is my position, this is my title, so do what I tell you to do, or you're going to be in trouble. Boy, rule-based, not love-based. You know what? Religion is rule-based. Boy, again, I just talked one of my last podcasts about the series The Chosen and how it just shows more and more the Pharisees and the Sadducees were about rules. It was about rules. I've been reading through the book of Matthew lately and how it was like, don't be like the religious rulers, the religious leaders, the Pharisees and the Sadducees that stand out on a street corner and they're quoting scripture, but their heart's far from me. That's what Jesus said. Okay. No, it's love-based. God is love, not God is rules. He's love. Focused on the gospel of salvation, not the gospel of kingdom. Listen, again, I'm reading the book of Matthew right now. And I think just in the New Testament, the gospels, kingdom is mentioned like 147 times, something like that, 146, 147 times. I'm actually going through right now in Matthew, and I'll go to Luke, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. I'm highlighting every time I see the word kingdom. And gospel of salvation is only mentioned 3 times. Like, that's it. Well, Christian is only mentioned 3 times, but the kingdom is mentioned 140 something times. So the gospel of salvation, it's the gospel of the kingdom, not the gospel of salvation. All right. Jesus came preaching the gospel of the kingdom, not the gospel of salvation. A religious mentality focused inside the church walls, neglecting going outside the church walls. Like, it's all about being inside the church and let's build a church, like a building. Okay. Let's all gather in here and who cares about everybody out there? No, the gospel of the kingdom is like, let's go out into the world and demonstrate the gospel of the kingdom. Let's represent our God, who is the King of the kingdom, and let's, represent him as a good father, like he's a great dad. And then a religious mentality, harsh, judgmental attitude towards sinners. All right, that's where it's like, oh my gosh, they're this, they're that, so oh my gosh, they're dark. That's that's darkness and everything. I got to run. I can't be around them. No, light in my world is greater than darkness. I'm not talking about my world. I'm talking about in the kingdom. Light overcomes darkness. Light is greater than darkness. If I have the kingdom of God within me, then you know what? My light shines bright. That's how I can go to Cuba. I can go to Venezuela and China and Pakistan and some of these places, because I know I carry the light of God, and it's always dispels darkness. And then last but not least, a religious mentality rejects progressive revelation and refuses to embrace change. Like, oh, no, this is how it's always been. So this is the way we're going to keep it. We've been like this for 50 years. We're not going to change it. It's like, oh my gosh, okay, you're so stuck in religion. No, this is about embracing change. It's okay. Without compromise, we can embrace change. And I tell you what, the churches right now that are embracing change, a healthy change, a righteous change, a kingdom change, they are thriving. The ones that aren't, they are surviving, and some of them are dying. All right. So let's go next. It says, so let's choose relationship over religion. All right. We have to choose relationship with God over religion. Relationship with God will thrive. Religion will barely survive. All right. The warning signs of a toxic victim mentality. We talked about a religious mentality. Let's talk about a victim mentality now. They're self-focused. Oh, me. Oh my gosh, I'm a victim. Oh my gosh, it's all about me. And I call it belly button syndrome. It's like their eyes are always on their belly button and they don't see anybody else or anything else around them. It's always about them. Like when you talk to somebody, it's the same thing over and over again. Well, when I was a kid, and I went through a lot of stuff growing up. Okay. I was fatherless. I had a lot of things going on in my life, but you know what? I went through ministry. I got with some people that knew how to take me through ministry, through deliverance, through, forgiveness, forgiving others, letting go of the past while I dealt with it. But I didn't want to hang on to it like carrying a bag of garbage on my back for the rest of my life. And nobody wants to hang around with people that have been hanging around a garbage dumpster, that are carrying garbage on their back or junk in their trunk. It weighs them down. People don't want to be around people like that. And so, a victim mentality, they're always thinking about themselves. It's always all about them. It's the same thing. You start talking to them and they're like, it goes right back. Well, this and that, well, he did this to me, or, when I was young and, my family, da, 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 da. It's like, oh my gosh. And then victim mentality, always talking, never listening. They always have to talk. And I want to put my finger in their mouth and say, stop. Just stop right now. Okay. Let's, when you listen, you're in the right to speak. So let's listen for a little bit. And then you can talk some more. A victim mentality, they're unlovable. They think, oh, nobody could ever love me. Nobody would ever want me. Poor me, poor me, poor me. They tend to see their problems as catastrophes. As catastrophes. Like it's the worst thing ever that ever happened on the planet. And it never happened to anybody, only about them. And, it's just like, they're done, nothing ever. And if somebody would say, yeah, I committed that. Oh yeah, but mine was much worse, but you didn't have what I had, or, et cetera, et cetera. They believe they're targeted for mistreatment. They almost set themselves up like with a bullseye. It's almost like they're a magnet for things to happen to them, because because their mentality, the way they talk, the way they think, the way they act, the way we respond, the way they relate, they almost are like a magnet for things to happen to them. And because people aren't really rejecting them, but it's in their mind. And so just one little thing, somebody doesn't answer their call or answer their text, or they're not invited to the party or whatever, then it's like, oh my gosh, well, this always happens to me. It's people just don't like me. They just don't want to be around me, this and that and everything else. It may be true. They don't want to be around them or be around you because it's always about you. Doesn't mean they don't like you. They probably really love you, but they just like, I've heard this story a billion times and I just can't hear it again. So, or you know what? Maybe they did send you an invitation to the party, but it got lost in the mail. But we make up all these stories that, oh, I wasn't welcome, this and that. So, and then lastly, but not least, as a victim, feels compelled to keep painful memories alive. Like it's almost like it's their drug of choice, that they have to keep these painful memories alive because it's what keeps them pumped up, but they're really deflated. That's what kind of keeps them going in life, with all these memories and these experiences. It's like, oh me, oh my, and it's kind of become their emblem, their mark in life. It's just to be mistreated. They're a victim. unlovable. Nobody wants to be around them, et cetera, et cetera. And so we having a religious mentality, a victim mentality, both of those are massively toxic and will destroy people. I mean, look, I had a victim mentality. Seriously, I was like queen of victim mentality, not religious mentality. I mean, not that I didn't have some religious thoughts by far, but I just had such a hunger for God that I was like, I would do crazy things for God, and really didn't care what the church thought about it. I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way. I'm just like, I wanted God more than I wanted religion. I wanted relationship more than I wanted religion. I had to work towards that and go through a lot of things to get there. But I can tell you, toxic mentality, woo, I definitely have one. Oh my gosh. I mean, I had such stinking thinking. It was insane. And I really felt like I was the victim. I was just a total victim. And so thankfully, I got set free from that, got ministry. I got people in my life that could begin to lovingly speak to me and not just tell me what I wanted to hear, but tell me sometimes what I didn't want to hear, but it was the truth. So I could get set free. And so, I'm thinking about the lame man that Jesus healed. I mean, he was lame for years. And, once Jesus healed him, it said he immediately picked up his pallet and walked. Like he was healed, he was set free. And he didn't go out from there and go, oh yeah, I was the guy that was lame for 35 years, and I mean, and I still, I still think about that. And, I was just, oh, it was a bad time. No, he was set free. He was healed, and he went out leaping and dancing and praising God and telling everybody like he was free. All right. And so he chose to be a victor, not a victim. He chose to flip the script on his life when Jesus healed him. And, because he tried, the guy was trying, but when Jesus healed him, he flipped the script on his life and he became a victor, not a victim. He was no longer a victim, picked up his pallet and left and went, okay, here I go. I'm going out and telling everybody. Jesus told him, hey, don't tell people what I did. But anyway, you know what? How could he not tell him? He went out and told everybody, hey, and when they would ask him, say, hey, weren't you the one that was lame? Yeah, but Jesus, he healed me. All right, let's talk about another toxic mentality, and it's a poverty mentality. Now, listen, I didn't have much of a religious mentality. Again, I probably had a little bit there, but my major toxic mentalities was victim and poverty. And thankfully, I've been set free from both of those. It took a lot of work, but I got set free from it. And so the poverty mentality, the demonstrations of that or the signs of that is constant money fixation. Like always, it's always money's on their mind all the time. Critical of rich people. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think if I was critical of rich people. I don't know that I was, except I would think, I wish I could be rich. Now, I learned today that I never really want to be rich. I want to be wealthy. A rich, like somebody wins the lottery and within like a year, they're bankrupt. They win $5 million. And then in a year or two, in fact, I did study on this a few years ago. I think it's like 2 or 3 years they're bankrupt because they got rich overnight. They didn't get wealthy and learn how to steward wealth. I want to be wealthy. I don't want to get rich. Okay. The poverty mentality, fear-based decision-making. Like everything is based with their decisions, especially in their purchases, is all based on fear. My spiritual father, Leif, really began to work my husband and I on this poverty mentality 16 years ago when we met him. And he would tell us, he's like, you got like a fear-based decision-making mentality when you take your toothpaste and you're rolling every little scrap of toothpaste out of that tube that you can get. Like, I mean, every little micro of it, you're getting out of that tube before you throw it away. I'm not saying you should throw a whole tube of toothpaste away, but it's just these things that we're thinking, oh my gosh, well, if I, will I have any tomorrow and this and that. So not a generous giver. Poverty mentality is not a generous giver. They want to keep it for themselves. And, oh my gosh, what if I give this away? Then I may not have enough for me. And that's a lack mentality, a poverty mentality, when God is a God of abundance. He is a God of not just enough, but a God of more than enough. A poverty mentality doesn't deserve to be blessed. Oh, well, God would never do that for me. Well, you know what? He loves you more. That's what people think. Like, he loves you more, so he'll do it for you, but he would never do it for me. Or, you're prettier or whatever. It's like, no, they don't think they deserve to be blessed. So they just stay stuck in poverty. They're working for money. Money's not working for them. Whoa, I could spend a time on this one right here. Like, I am after money working for me, not working for money. I worked many, many, many years for a paycheck. You know what? Now money works for my husband and I. And that's another story. It really is. But I'm reading a new book, Tax-Free Wealth, and it's an amazing book. And one of the things he was talking about in there is, and most of us don't know, is that for every 8 hours we work in a day, 2 hours of our income, that 2 hours of that working day goes to pay taxes. 2 hours of a 6-hour day, of an 8-hour day. Well, that's really exciting to go to bed at night and go, okay, I'm going to go get up and go work the same job tomorrow. And the first 2 hours, I'm just going to be working to pay taxes. And the next 6 hours after that, well, that's money I'm going to get to bring home and do something with. Okay. And so we're feeding the government, and there are ways that legally, actually owning your own business, there are incredible subsidies out there to help us. That's a podcast for another day, I guess. But anyway, I don't work for money anymore. Money is working for me. Money is working for me. I don't want to work for money anymore. You know why? Because I live in just paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. Okay. A poverty mentality, lives, life looking for the next bar. Lives like, I'm looking at some notes here, guys. Lives life looking for the next bargain. Oh my gosh, there's a garage sale. Let's go garage sale shopping every Friday. Let's go to the thrift store every Saturday. And it's not wrong, guys. If I'm going past a garage sale and I see something in the driveway, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is a really nice looking rocker right there. I got to go look at that. That looks pretty cool. You know what? I can go buy it. That's not, or if I want to go and, to a thrift store and look at something or whatever. But if I live my life and everything has to be bought on thrift, or everything needs to be bought at a garage sale because I can't afford to walk into a department store, whatever, that's a poverty mentality. I cannot live my life looking for the next bargain. I like bargains. Trust me. If I can find a bargain and it's right there in front of me, I'm going to be, yeah, but I don't live my life. If there's something that I'd really like to have, and I really would like it. Let's just say it's a new bathing suit. I'm not going to, go and look and like, well, it's got to be $9.99 and I got to find, the 80% off rack. I like bargains, guys. Don't misunderstand me. But you know what? If I see a bathing suit that I really like and it's going to cost me $100, then I'm going to get that bathing suit. Okay. Because I'm not working for a paycheck anymore. I'm not working for money. Money works for me. All right. And this is a poverty mentality, has to check their bank account before buying anything. Oh, that's definitely living paycheck to paycheck. Has to check the bank account. I told the church that I pastored for 5.5 years in Ohio, Family Faith Community Church, I did a series, a 1-month series, 4 Sundays on kingdom finances. And I told the church, I said, and I gave illustrations. I even gave some money away. Usually in church, you're taking up money. I gave money away. Okay. That's those 4 services, I gave money to people because I was using them as an illustration and how they can go and invest. All right. And they had to come back and they had to show in 4 weeks, what did you invest in? Did you get a return? Like, let's just not spend money. Let's go invest. Let's invest and when we invest, we're investing for the kingdom of God. That's what Ray and I do. And so anyway, I told him, I said, I can know who your God is. And they're looking at me like, what do you mean? I said, give me 5 minutes with your checkbook and I'll tell you who your God is. And so whenever somebody has to be checking their bank account, before they can buy anything, that's a poverty mentality. And then last but not least, jealous of people who have more money than they have. Oh my gosh, people who have more money than they have, then that's a poverty mentality. And I tell you, it really, I've had people over the last couple of years contact me and go, can I borrow some money? I've literally had a couple of people say, can I borrow 10,000 from you? And I'm like, no, I'll teach you how to make 10,000. How's that? How about instead of me giving you a fish, how about if I teach you how to fish and then you'll never be hungry? That's what Jesus did. Okay. How about if I teach you how to make money while you're sleeping and not work for a paycheck, but have money, not work for money, but have money working for you. I can help you do that. And then you'll never have to come and ask me or anybody else for money again. You can make your own money. And then, it's just been some interesting things people have asked me and I'm like, no, I really don't know you that well. And so I can help you make money, but I'm not going to give you any money. But anyway, so there are people that are jealous of other people that have money. And in Deuteronomy 8:18, it says, but remember, listen to this, guys, Deuteronomy 8:18. I love it. I love it. But remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the ability to produce wealth. He gives us the ability to produce wealth. It didn't say he gives you the ability to get rich. Like, go to the local casino and I'll help you get rich, or join the lottery and I'll help you get rich, or whatever, what's it called? My husband did it for years, thinking maybe we'd get rich, and now he doesn't have to do it anymore. But anyway, it's the sweepstakes thing or whatever. And, there's people out there, and that's a poverty mentality. Ray and I both had a poverty mentality. I could go in a lot of details about that, but thankfully we don't anymore. We have an abundant mentality, and in abundance, we're able to bless more people. Please don't send me a Facebook message, ask me to give you money. Okay. But anyway, but remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the ability to produce wealth. Do you know, friend, that God wants to help you produce wealth in your life? Do you know that? And it says that that's in Deuteronomy 8:18. Go look it up. I'm not making it up. He has given us the ability to do that. He has helped my husband be able to produce some wealth, and we're thankful for it. We're very thankful, and we sow a lot of money into the nations, because we believe in the mission of what's going on, these missionaries and these ministries of what they're doing in the nations. And so, all right. So choose provision, not poverty. Choose provision, choose relationship, not religion. Choose being a victor, not a victim, and choose provision, not poverty. God has given us the ability to create wealth, to create provision. So, friend, I hope that blessed you today, and please, I just, if you feel, if I've gone through this today, if you feel like you have a religious mentality, a victim mentality, or poverty mentality, reach out to a friend or a counselor or something and go, you know what? I just realized I have a poverty mentality. Like, I can't buy anything without checking my checkbook. All I do is shop at garage sales and thrift stores. I'm jealous of people who have money. There's something wrong with that. Or I'm always talking about me. I always go back to my past. I have a belly button syndrome where it's always all about me. And I've got a tail behind me and it keeps wagging for like 25, 30 years now. And I can't get rid of it. It's your past. It's your past. We have to deal with our past and let go with it. We got eyes in the front of our head, not the back of our head. That's because God wants us to look forward, not backwards. We look backwards in a rearview mirror to make sure there's nothing following behind us, okay, that would bring harm to us. But if we keep looking in the rearview mirror of a car and not going forward in the front window, then we're going to have an accident. We're going to be in a lot of trouble. And a lot of people are in trouble. They keep having accidents because they keep looking in the rearview mirror and not through the front windshield. And then, just give it to somebody and say, hey, would you pray with me? Get some ministry, deliverance ministry, get a counselor, whatever it is. That's what I had to do. I wanted to be free. And so I found people who were free and said, help me get free over the years. So anyway, I just bless you, friend, to have a prosperous mentality, a relationship mentality, a victor mentality, a kingdom mentality, a thriving mentality, a beloved son, daughter mentality of God. And so I just bless you. And I hope this has blessed you today and it's brought some revelation or just spoke to you in some way. And if it has, please share it with a friend or a family member. And then just subscribe to my podcast, Leanne Goff, the transformational coach, Leanne Goff. And then, rate us too. We'd love to hear from you. So, all right, friends, signing off for today, Leanne Goff, the transformational coach.